Welcome to a Black Girl Safe Space. I'm Angel.
And I'm Zira.
And in this podcast, we talk about anything and everything because this is a safe space.
Okay, guys, so we're introducing some new segments into the podcast to kind of, add some flair, add some fun. So this first segment, this first segment is what are you obsessed with right now?
Yeah. So
right now, I am obsessed with I'm like back in my Spider-Man kick.
ooh.
Yeah, I just like rewatched No Way Home. I rewatched Homecoming. I rewatched Amazing Spider-Man. Like I'm literally gonna show you guys right now if I can. One of my
I'm excited. Wait, is that your lock screen?
lock screen. Like I'm literally back in my Spider-Man kick and I have no shame.
Is that your only thing you're obsessed with right now?
I'm also obsessed with um American Horror Story. I'm like almost done with season 1 and I started yesterday. Although there's only 12 episodes. Don't look at me like that. There's only 12 episodes,
Dang.
but like I'm really liking it so far. And I know I'm just getting on the American Horror Story train, but I'm here now.
Yeah, well, you're here now.
I'm here.
You're here. I need to get on
I'm
the train.
also obsessed with Lizzie McAlpine, I think is her name.
Oh, who's that?
Oh my gosh. This album, guys. Oh, you really need to listen to it. It's called 5 Seconds Flat. My favorite song on there is Ceilings. It's so good. And I also like her song with Phineas on there.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Been
he's
listening to it on
Phineas?
repeat.
Really? Oh,
Mm-hmm.
that's cool.
Been listening to it on repeat. It's so good.
Okay. Love that. Um, okay, I guess TV show wise, I am obsessed right now with The Handmaid's Tale. I have not started it because of school, but I watched like the new season and I've been like itching to like watch it, but I'm so busy. But like I love The Handmaid's Tale. Like it's such a good show. Y'all definitely should watch. But yeah, that's like one of my like little obsessions right now. I just finished the Dahmer series, so I'm getting back into my true crime uh I guess era or whatever of like figuring out why these people are the way they are. As y'all know, I am a psych major, so I really be wondering what is going on in these people's head, like actually, like for real. Music wise, I have been loving this playlist I made. It just has a whole bunch of like uh white artists that I just love. Like I that's mainly what I listen to. Like I rarely listen to R&B now cuz I'm obsessed. I'm
Same.
obsessed. Right now my favorite song on here is Robbers and Do I Want to Know? Robbers by the 1975 and Do I Want to Know by Arctic
Guys,
Monkeys.
side note, 1975, Arctic Monkeys, Paramore, they're all coming
They're
back. So
coming
you know
back.
what that
It's
means.
Tumblr Girl Core.
Us Tumblr
Ah.
girls, we're coming back.
Yes,
Like
we
we're
are.
starting a
Yes.
revolution.
Oh, another one of my
It's our
songs.
time.
Yes. I've been loving Sherry Sherry Lady by Modern Talking. That song is really good. Like y'all should listen. It's like an old 80s song. What else did you say? Oh, movie. Did you say movie? Yeah, you said movie and a
I
show.
mean, yes.
Um what else have I been obsessed over? Oh, I've been obsessed with Paris Fashion Week. The looks that has been giving, oh my gosh. Might I add, it might be better than New York. It might be better than New York. I'm not even gonna lie. And specifically, who I want to point out is Kylie and her team. They have been eating. Like her looks, every look has been eating. Like she looks so good. Every show I've seen of her, she's been so good. And then the Bella Hadid uh liquid fabric moment, that was so cool.
Yes,
And
that was a moment
and
right
knowing that
there.
they didn't like what's the word, practice it before, it was all improv.
Hmm.
They didn't know what was gonna
That's a
happen.
moment right there,
We love
y'all.
that. I'm I've been like looking at it over and over again, like this is so cool. I want to dress like that. I want to fabric a liquid dress. Yeah. But those are the things that we've been obsessing over. Please let us know, like, what have y'all been obsessed over in the month of October or late September? Let us know in the
It
comments.
is beginning of October, as you can see. I'm in the spirit with my
Oh, your
Halloween
pumpkins.
blanket.
Slay.
I love October, y'all.
Yeah, I love October. Well, I'm a little biased because it's my anniversary, but Halloween is cool. But yeah, that was our little segment. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was cute, cute little moment.
Yeah,
But yeah, now we're gonna get into the
yeah,
nitty gritty. We're gonna get into the nitty
yeah.
gritty.
Let's get into
Yeah.
the real.
Now, I want to do a disclaimer. If you are offended, please click out now. If you get easily offended, click out. This is a really,
Especially when especially when it comes to things of the feminism movement.
yeah,
Now, before we begin, trust and believe me and Angel support women and women's rights through and
yes,
through.
through and through.
Trust. If there's anybody who does, it's
Yeah,
us. You know, but I think it's also, it wouldn't be fair of us to deny what happens when feminism kind of becomes too much
yeah,
and it starts to teeter into misandry, which is what we're going to talk about today.
yeah.
So,
So, just disclaimer, you already know this is a really
yeah.
heavy topic. So, just
Hmm.
if just click out.
Yeah.
It's okay. You can join next.
But, yeah, this
Yeah,
is a safe space for everybody. We are women and we want to be the voices and the advocates for women, but we also want to show our support to other communities as well.
yeah. So,
So,
misandry is a noun. It is a dislike of or contempt for or ingrained prejudice against men, the male sex. Poorly disguised misandry. That's a sentence for y'all. So, it's a Greek. Miso is hating, and Andrew, I guess, is man. So the hating of men, like absolute total hating of men. So we got misogyny, which is the opposite sex wise. It's the hating of women. And I'm
hmm
pretty sure y'all didn't know there was a word for the hating of men because
hmm
it doesn't get talked about, and we're here to talk about it. So
yeah.
let's get into it.
So now that we've kind of, explained what the definition of misandry is, because it's a word that we're going to be using a lot in today's episode, I think it's only right to kind of talk about what the feminist movement is, since that's also going to be a lot about what we're
Hmm.
talking about today.
Yeah.
So, um, to me, what feminism is, um, it not only includes women's rights, but it's also about women's equality. For a long time, women were seen as less than compared to a man.
Yeah.
We weren't paid the same for doing the same work. Women couldn't vote. Women were seen as objects used to reproduce. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? And we've come so far as a community of women to not only prove ourselves, but fight for what we deserve.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the feminism movement comes in. I don't think it's meant to push the agenda that women are better, but I think it just sends a message that women can and women will, you
Hmm.
know? So I don't know. That's what I see feminism
Yeah, I agree.
um, as what I feel that it is intended to be.
Hmm.
Now, obviously, based on today's topic, we kind of, like, things kind of get taken to another level.
Abused,
But
basically.
but Angel, what is feminism to you? Like, what do you think it's about?
Feminism to me is, basically the knowing that a woman can do the same thing a man can, and sometimes maybe even a little bit better. And
Mm-hmm.
it's it's a movement to support women into doing those exact things, becoming president, being a CEO, and the man being your general manager, but you're, the owner, or, you making more money than a man would in the same position, things of that nature. Like doing things that a man can do that a woman can also do too. Because,
Mhm.
just because we have a vagina and you have a penis does not mean we can't do the same thing as you when it comes to working and, things of that nature. So that's what I
Mhm.
think feminism is to me, the support and the movement of a woman being able to do that,
Mhm.
being that leader, being that I guess voice, just
Mhm.
doing things that a man can, because sometimes y'all think y'all are better than us, and I don't like
Mhm.
that.
Yeah. And like women are
Oh
just as
yeah.
capable as men.
Hmm.
We work just as hard, we study just as hard, we fight just as hard. That doesn't make us any less qualified based on our gender. Like, that's not right.
Yeah, like relax.
Yeah. But at the same time, I think that in certain aspects, feminism has kind of been taken out of context. And I feel for a lot of people, it's now seen as the idea of women hating men,
Yeah,
and that's not what feminism is. But I think that's kind of like it's gotten misconstrued a little bit. And now that kind of like falls under misandry. So personally, I think most women who consider themselves feminists, like myself, do not hate men, you know, like that. I don't hate men. Yes, sometimes some things get questionable.
yeah.
Women get uncomfortable, and rightfully so. I mean, let's talk about the statistics here. Look, we're not going to get into them, but y'all know what I'm talking
Right,
about.
right.
I mean, women have that right, to feel the way that they feel.
Yeah,
But I don't think all women hate men. I just think they hate how the system compares them to men, or how the system makes them feel, you know, in comparison to a man.
yeah,
Like, why do we always have to be underneath?
yeah.
Why do we always have to answer to a man?
Hmm. Why can't we answer
The,
with, or yeah,
hmm
like why
or
are we not?
alongside, or why can't they answer to us? You know what I mean? It's just like,
Yeah, like why can't it just be here? Why is it here?
hmm
You know?
hmm yeah. But I think people see the idea of feminism as though it has no real merit,
Mm,
which I don't think is right. I think people just see it as women wanting to hate men.
yeah,
Oh, she's a feminist, she just doesn't like guys. You
yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah. But I mean, it's. I don't blame them for thinking that way because of how feminism has been abused. Yeah, that's a good word to say. Like
Hmm.
I get why men say those things about how once you hear that a girl's a feminist, she just doesn't like men, because
Hmm.
that's when I think if I were a guy and I heard a woman say she was a feminist, I would have automatically thought, oh yeah, she probably don't like men. Like
Hmm.
she's a man hater, you know.
Hmm. Hmm.
So that's like a little, preface of
Yeah.
misandry. Now the
Hmm.
negative effects of misandry, I guess we could talk about the negative effects with society in general, and mainly obviously the target here, men, because
Hmm.
that's the main target here.
Hmm.
They don't like, men. So I guess with social or society, it it can get really, it can, first of all, it can block your blessings because you have this such hatred towards men. And as we know, men are, statistically in more jobs than women. You're going to see more men working than women. And you say you gotta, you're a misandrist and you gotta go get your car fixed or something like that. You mean to tell me you're gonna not get your car fixed because a man is fixing it? Really? or you're gonna go out your way to find a women's auto shop. Like, I don't even know, is that a thing? If it is, cool. But it's like that's like an example. Like, you're gonna go out your way just because you don't like this gender.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you need to really think. Come on. Like,
Mm-hmm.
don't, you know?
And I think what a lot of us have to realize is yes, there are a lot of men who are misogynistic. Like, yeah, we see it every day, you
Andrew
know,
Tate, for
but
example.
but there's also the flip side of it.
Yeah.
Like, it's like Angel said earlier, there's not only misogyny, there's
Mm-hmm.
also misandry, from both sides. And I think just because it's seen more with men and misogyny
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean that women and misandry don't exist.
Yeah.
And I think that's another thing that the feminism movement is trying to kind of, you know, break down.
Mm.
But like, how can we break down, well, I mean, you can't really break down misogyny because it's such a large systemic issue.
Yeah,
But
that's true.
we're fighting every day to try to overcome those stereotypes that are put on us.
Mm.
But like, how can we do that when we're kind of doing the same thing, just it's just not seen as in the that big of a scale, if
Yeah.
that makes sense. In my personal opinion, I don't think you can fight hate with hate.
Mm-mm. That's like fighting fire
you
with
know
fire.
yeah, it's just not going to work. And I think that the feminism movement has kind of been clouded with a lot of hate for men, which
Yeah.
is not what it was intended for.
Yeah. And
I think we should. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
you're
off.
good. But like, okay, I was gonna say, like, and I don't want women that are feminists to come on here and say things like, well, men make us feel that type of way.
Hmm.
Like, men make us act this way towards them. That's why we hate all men.
Hmm.
Not every single
Your
man on this
Yeah,
earth has,
your
you know?
experiences are 100% valid,
Mm-hmm.
completely valid, and you're entitled to feel the way you feel. Trust me, we hear you. You know what I mean? But it's not fair to like kind of put, I know it kind of gets clouded,
Yeah.
like, oh, well, most men do this, so it's kind of hard to separate, when the majority are
Mm-hmm.
doing something, you kind of put everyone into the
Yeah, into
category.
one.
But like Angel said, I feel like it kind of blocks
Mm-hmm.
your blessing and also clouds your perception, because there are men out there who are feminists. Like, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
There are men out here who are feminists, who fight for women's rights, who are not misogynistic, but their good intentions are kind of clouded by this idea that all men are the same and we should hate all men because all men hate us. You know what I mean?
Like, it's not needed.
Sorry if I get out of frame for a second. I need to grab my computer charger.
Oh, it's okay. Yeah, like,
Oop.
I just don't like the fact that I understand, like Zira said, your opinions and your experiences are 100% valid, but I don't like the fact that you or women that are feminists generalize all men into one thing. Like, okay, 15 men in the past 3 years have catcalled you, and now all of a
Mm-hmm.
sudden you hate all men. That was 15 men out of the population of men that we have in this world.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't
Mm-hmm.
understand why, you generalize and make it seem like every man is just the back of somebody's shoe. Like, giving them a chance. And like, I don't like that. It really rubs me the wrong way. So I don't really identify myself as a feminist, but I am, like I'm gonna I want a woman to do the things she wants to do, even if it's
Mm-hmm.
a man's job, quote unquote, But
Mm-hmm.
I'm that's what's kind of like pushed me away from being a feminist. I don't want people to think that I hate all men, and I don't want feminists to think that I'm taking a man's side either. Like, it just
Mm-hmm.
doesn't it would be bad on either side. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I guess I could say I don't really share how I feel mainly on that because just because of that reason in itself. But yeah, I really don't like the whole generalization type movement
Yeah.
that they be doing.
Yeah. Me personally, I would definitely consider myself a feminist, but how do I put this? I would consider myself a feminist, but not the type of feminism that society is trying to paint a picture of.
Mhm.
Because not only has like the kind of definition of feminism been clouded, but the way it's seen in society has also been kind of tainted, which is
Mhm.
why I think a lot of people are thinking of misogyny as this hate movement of
Yeah.
men.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I
Mhm.
think that's kind of where we need to bring into the conversation what has gone wrong and what our intentions as women, as feminists are.
Mhm. I
You
agree.
know, if our intentions are to push the agenda that we hate men, I don't think that is feminism. If
Nah.
our agenda is to push that we are capable, we should be held as equals to men, then to me, that's feminism. Like, I'm not going to sit here, call myself a feminist, and then say I hate every single man on the planet and every single man that is to be born. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
And I know
Like,
some people, they joke about it. Like some feminists joke,
hmm
like, "Oh yeah, I hate all men," but it's like it's just when you
I just
speak.
feel like the statement is
Yeah,
kind of contradictory to
yeah,
what we stand for as feminists, you
yeah,
know?
and it just puts bad energy into the atmosphere. Like you just, oh, you hate all men. Like it. Think if you really needed to say that, did you really think like was that
hmm
needed for you to say for for one? Like if you really don't hate all men, why say that? So you can impress your other
hmm
feminist peers? Is that the root of the cause?
hmm
Or
hmm
do you just not care that much about a man's
Yeah.
feelings?
I think with the feminist movement and a lot of other movements that are based around equity and equality, um, and things of that nature, we really need to remember what the purpose of these are.
Yeah.
I don't think we should get so focused on the anger that kind of comes with what we're lacking,
Mhm.
you know, what we're lacking based on what we should have been given.
Yeah.
I think we should just fight for, our right, I guess. And women have been fighting for so long. So have
So
a
long.
bunch of other minority groups,
Yeah.
you know, but I think it's a matter of how we go about it that
Mhm.
will really make the biggest impact,
Yeah.
you know.
I agree. And to continue with this conversation, I like with the whole not we hate all like they we hate all men saying y'all need to think that not all men are bad. Not all of them.
hmm
And
hmm
okay, you may have, like I said before with the example, you've had 15 men in your life in the past 2 3 years catcall you, say all these things to you. Okay, you have this what's the word? You have this stereotype of how things are. But another thing to think about when I say not all men are bad and why I say that is that you need to be more open minded and think about what you're saying. Like, think before you speak. Like, what our episode 3 was talking about love and, loving, thinking what you're saying was it coming out of love type stuff. And, you know, just think about like all the things that I don't want to say all the things because I'm here. I am trying to generalize. Like, I don't want to do that. But some of the things that I've heard from feminists, especially on like the app of TikTok, the clock app. I have heard, things from feminists saying like, all men can, go to hell, and just y'all can, just really hurtful things. And I hate to be the one to point the finger, but like, if a man said these things, y'all would be in a riot. And another thing is, men don't really express their feelings. So women, feminists that are more so misandrous, um, don't think about, what a man is like. They don't care about that. And men go through those things and don't tell us because they won't get taken seriously. They are deemed as weak, or it's just frowned upon to talk about your feelings as a man. But like, you got
Mm-hmm.
all these women out here that are supposedly feminists but more so misandrous, talking all these negative things and saying all these negative things about men, and men are hearing it. And it if I were a guy, I would be really, sad. And like it's just, it kind of stunts their, I don't want to say growth, but life experiences, I guess. It puts a wedge into their path of like meeting, having opportunities, because so and so is a misandrist and she doesn't like men, so you can't do this thing, or things of that nature. So it's like, y'all gotta think
Mm-hmm.
that not all men are bad. Like, I could name so many men that I know and I've heard of that are not bad men. Like, I want y'all to take, like, people that are borderline misandrous, that if y'all are listening, I want y'all to think about like who's bad and who's good in your life. Really think. Like, don't be so quick to talk back. Really think about it and be more quick to listen. You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's just my
And I
take.
get that some of the people listening may be like, oh, well, you're telling us not to say like all these hateful things to men. You're telling us to
You
do
want to be a
this,
pick-me.
but like they do that to us. Yeah, I know. I know. And it's unfortunate. And I think for a good bit of men, not to be like, not the feminist coming out, but I think a lot of men kind of express, you know, like their anger. And I'm going to use the word ignorance because I'm using it lightly in this term, but it's the only word that I could think of that kind of aids in what I'm trying to say.
Hmm.
I think they're quick to express their anger and ignorance more so than they're willing to express their hurt. So
Mm.
I think that's where you know, a lot of the things that they say that's really hurtful towards women in our community comes from,
Yeah.
because, they're just kind of, because of what the agenda the society has pushed, like, let's be real. There's a superiority complex in the male community. Like, I'm just going to be honest.
Hmm.
There is. And I think that's just because of the way society has been built.
Hmm.
It's always been men, it's always been men, it's always been men. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's where the ignorance kind of ties in, because like, if people are growing up a certain way, or if things have been a certain way for a long time, people are going to be oblivious to change, or they're going to be oblivious to kind of like the things going on around them.
Hmm.
But where I'm trying to go with that is, although that is like a present factor, I think that it's just a little bit redundant trying to battle it in the same way.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
They're
like if
redundant.
hmm like if men are being hateful, cruel, and ignorant, like, why are we gonna be hateful, cruel, and ignorant?
You, again, fighting
Like,
fire
we're
with
not gonna
fire.
get,
You're not gonna
yeah,
get
you're not
nowhere.
gonna get anything
The fire
done
is not gonna get put out.
that way.
It's just gonna be
I think
bigger.
I think it just comes down to like adjusting our focus,
Yeah.
and like I said earlier, prioritizing what we feel is the most important.
Hmm.
I don't think what's important is expressing our hate for men.
Yeah. It's not. That's not
I
the
think
main
what's
focus.
important, yeah, I think what's important is maintaining what's already like maintaining the progress that women have made
Mhm.
in our movement and continuing it and fighting for things that are important, continuing to fight for women's rights that are currently being taken away.
Yeah.
You know, let's look at what's going on in the world right now.
Yeah.
Why are we wasting our breath expressing how much we hate men?
Mhm.
You know, when
There are way more important
those in
things.
charge, you know, the men that are in charge right now are taking things away from us and
Mhm.
taking things away from other communities as we speak.
Mhm.
You know, like let's use our our words for what's like really matters.
Yeah, use
That's
your
just how
voice.
I see it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like let's bring back our focus to the main topic because it
Mhm.
seems like feminists that are borderline misandrous have kind of pushed off the main purpose of feminism, which is to, fight for women's rights and be in the same level on the same level as a man, and have, taken it and dug it in the dirt and brought up, oh yeah, men do this.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
like that.
Like it's like how do you kind of expect people to take us seriously as feminists when what we do has been so like thrown around, you
Yeah.
know, and so misunderstood now.
Yeah, because whose fault, who's to blame, I can't speak, who's to blame? Feminists, or should I
Mhm.
say misanders? Because feminists, true feminists like Zira, are they are on the top. But
Mhm.
you have the feminists that mask, well, the misanders that mask themselves as feminists.
Mhm. And that really takes away from all of the women who are really trying to use their voices
Yeah,
for good, you
yeah.
know.
It's literally like y'all. It's because when you said something about a superiority complex, these girls are getting the same type of superiority god complex because they think that a man is just dirt, and he can't do nothing for you, and all these things, and
Mhm.
the topic of I don't need a man, I can have kids on my own, and all this type of stuff. Like,
Mhm.
our
Well, you know, I feel like for some people who kind of have that idea or who kind of like are pushing the agenda that they do have that superiority complex,
mhm.
I feel like I feel like they kind of aspire to have it because they see that it works for
Ooh,
men.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, and
So
it
I
does
think
work because there's a lady on TikTok.
it does.
There's a
It
lady on
does.
TikTok that is the equivalent to Andrew Tate in a woman. Like,
Hmm.
I forget her name, but she, like, if you put him and her, they gonna knock
Hmm.
heads. Oh my gosh, if they
Yeah.
were married, I don't
Yeah.
even think it would
And I feel
last.
like a lot of the people who fall under misandry, that's what they want
Yeah.
because they see that men who are often at the top, or like, you know, the male species in general who's at the
Mm-hmm.
top, have that superiority complex. So it's like, oh, if it works for them, that's
Then
what
it's
we
gonna
need
work
to
for me.
have,
Yeah.
you know. But I don't, that's not what it's about.
No, it's
You know,
definitely not.
it's not about one being superior to the other because then we're just kind of in this constant battle with people trying to get on top of each other.
Yeah.
I I just think it's about equality. Everyone should have the same opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody should be treated, you know, fairly. They should be rewarded for their abilities fairly, you know. Let's just say hypothetically, if you were in a job, you were competing for a job, and a woman had, you know, higher education,
Mm-hmm.
more experience, she was more qualified than the man,
Mm-hmm.
then she should be offered the job.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like
And
that's
she
kind
should
of
get
where it
paid the
ties
same.
into, you know, and she should be paid the same, and vice versa.
Yep.
If the man was more qualified, had more experience, was a better candidate, then he should be offered the job.
Mm-hmm.
That's what equality is,
Yeah.
giving everybody a fair opportunity and allowing everybody to kind of not prove themselves, but allowing everybody
To
equal
have that
opportunity.
space. to be able
Yeah.
to do that.
Because people,
Yeah.
women work just as hard as men.
Yeah.
Why shouldn't they be given the same opportunities?
Mhm. Like
You know,
yeah, like
that's what it boils down to. It's
mhm.
not about women being better or men being better.
It's like
At least
it all
that's
boils
not what
down
I
to
think,
somebody
and
being
that's not the
selfish.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
not the feminism that I ride for, y'all. I
Yeah.
don't know about you, but me,
Yeah, like that, like at the end of it, like it's really somebody trying to be on top of the other person. And what is that?
hmm
Selfishness. Like you are
hmm
pushing the other person down so you can be on top. Like really
hmm
think about what you're saying, what you're promoting, what you're doing. Are you really a feminist, or do you just want to be on top? Like think about it.
hmm
And don't be mad when we call you out on it. And don't tell me that I'm a pick me, because I am not. Believe that. That's another thing. Like when like girls like us um try to vouch for men that are good, and we get called pick me's for it. Do y'all know what a pick me is for real? Because y'all
hmm
seem like y'all are
Like I
taking that and
think,
running with it.
yeah, I feel like people take the word "pick me" and just apply it to every situation that they see kind of a woman speaking in more so defense of a man.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what I want y'all to do here first, and I mean this in the nicest way possible, I love y'all. But you have to really listen to where we're coming from, because this is not one-sided. You
Mm-hmm.
know, we're also talking about where there's down we're talking about the problems within both communities, but what I think the goal of what this episode is we want like our listeners and our viewers to kind of see where there's a disconnect,
Mm-hmm. And reconnect
and
it.
where we kind of get hypocritical.
Yeah.
And I don't think you can have change with when it's like tied into hypocrisy,
Yeah.
because then
Because
what goal are we
excuse me.
really working towards,
Yeah, like
you know
what happened to the original plot
yeah i think
of the
we yeah
movie?
i think we just kind of want people to realize, like, to kind of get back to the true cause and the true purpose,
Yeah, of
you
feminism.
know
And is
yeah.
there a
And like Angel
word
said,
for
kind of call it out for what it is. Like
yeah.
we're quick to call out misogyny. I think because it's easier to recognize because it's
Mhm.
so big.
Mhm.
But you know, misandry also exists, and it has to
Yeah.
be addressed.
Um yeah, like I was saying, you guys, we had a very technical difficulty. Like
Yeah,
we just basically, oh wait, hold on, let me start the garage band. So oh, my bad, hold on. Let me press R. Okay. So, like I was saying, guys, we had a very technical difficulty on Zara's side. Her laptop just froze. So, we
yeah,
still have the. Oh wait, let me mute you. We still have the audio from this point of view, so it's okay. But that kind of took like maybe like 30 minutes to figure out.
yeah. That kind of set us back a little bit, but
Yeah.
as long as we have the audio, um, still, then we're fine. So if there's like a change in sound quality
Hmm.
between the two of us,
Hmm.
don't pay much attention to it. Just know that we had to use a backup audio, because something had happened.
Yeah.
But um, I really can't remember where I was left off. I know I was saying something. I can't remember,
I don't either.
but I feel like I've touched on all of my main points that I want to touch on. And
Hmm.
I think we've made ourselves pretty clear on the purpose of this conversation.
Yeah.
It's not. to come to the defense of any one side, but it's just to recognize, where we're being hypocritical in our
Mm-hmm.
own personal movement as women,
Mm-hmm.
and how that has affected society's view on what it is that we stand for as feminists or as
Yeah,
women who support women's rights,
agreed.
and how it teeters into misandry, which, is hypocritical.
Very hypocritical. Y'all can't say one thing and say another while, you know, putting the other gender down while trying to make yourself at the top. Like,
Because, like, then at that point, what makes us any different, you know?
yeah, like don't was that a word? Don't select sides.
I don't think so, but it's okay. we can
don't
use it.
I don't want okay, I don't want to say generalize, but don't make yourself as a feminist or misandrist, don't make yourself seem like you're the only one that matters. Cause at the end of the day, God made two genders, male and female. The other ones, we that's a whole nother topic. But like basic, there's a male and female. You can't just top the other one and put the other one at the bottom. We're meant to be fairly treated together, not one up here and the other one down here, or vice versa. It's just not that's not how it's supposed to go, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Um we were supposed to have a middle segment, but we could just put it at the end. So like, do you have an unpopular opinion? Like, are you having one of those moments where, you know, unpopular opinion alert type vibes with this topic, you know?
Mm-hmm. Um, you can go first. I think I have to think
Me,
about.
I was gonna think. Okay, let's see. I feel like that's kind of a biased opinion because I haven't really experienced much misogyny myself. Knock on wood, I will not be experiencing that. Um, but
You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and say it.
I'm having one of those moments. I'm having one of those moments. I'm having one.
oh,
I
I don't
feel
know. She's
like
having one of those moments.
I feel like when it comes to certain, marginalized groups, and this is more general, but it ties into today's topic as well. Groups that, have constantly had to battle for something that they should have already had.
Mhm.
I think sometimes we kind of disregard the fact that some of the things that we're fighting against are what we've adopted, but like we don't want to acknowledge that part. So I think
Mm.
it takes a lot of inner reflection and within communities sometimes to figure out, you know, what exactly it is they're working towards. Because sometimes we have a common goal and we're trying to beat something, but we're trying to do it in the same way that they did it to us. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like how are you going to try to fix something with the same tactics that those people used to mess it up? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like we keep reiterating, you can't fight hate with hate or you can't fight fire with fire.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's kind of just natural when you're kind of like a marginalized group to kind of subconsciously adopt some of the practices that have been pushed on you and like some of the norms that have been pushed on you. But I think we need to take the time to reflect and realize where they're coming from, and that we need to go ahead and get rid of that before we can really do the work that we need to do.
Yeah.
You know,
Take some
like you can't
therapy.
you can't fight the man, you know, doing the things that the man does. You know,
Yeah,
like who are you fighting at that point?
yeah, because you sound like one of them.
Hmm.
You sound like one of
Like
them in a
at
woman's
that point,
body.
it makes us know better, and like that's not the point of this whole thing.
Yeah, that's not the point. And okay, I'm gonna say it. I based on the society of feminism and not true feminists, feminism is BS and it's overrated. I said it. I said it. I said it. I'm sorry. Y'all gonna have to bite. Just how like Zero is. Y'all gonna have to bite y'all tongues on this. Like, I'm sorry. I had to say it. Feminism is overrated. Y'all are taking it. Just this whole topic today. Y'all are taking it and running with it. Cause y'all are scaring me. And I'm not even a man. Y'all are scaring me. Why are we telling people to kill men? What? Whoa. Like what happened to
You know,
hi?
I
What happened
get where
to
you're
hello?
coming from, and I get why you feel that way.
Yeah.
Although I don't feel that way personally, I can understand why you feel that way.
That's why I was like, I don't know if that's a biased opinion, but
Hmm.
opinions are biased anyway.
Yeah, opinions are biased.
Yeah.
That's why they're called opinions.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Let me
yeah.
say that again. That's why they're called opinions,
Yeah.
guys.
That's why. So please do
And feel
not.
free to share. You know, like we always say, this is a safe space. This is an open place for discussion.
Mhm.
Um,
We're not
the
gonna
only
bash you for
thing
your
that,
opinion.
yeah, and we hope you don't do that to us. The only thing that we ask is when we're having discussions within our little community,
Mhm.
whether that's between us and you guys or between you guys, you know, yourselves. We just ask that you hear everybody out,
Yeah. Hear
you be
everybody's side.
respectful, and you, yeah, be respectful and understanding. Just make sure before you come to a conclusion you've heard everybody's point of view,
Yeah.
because you can't have a fair discussion if, you know, you're closed-minded and you're not hearing what other people have to say about certain things. There
Yeah.
are certain things where you
That,
don't need to listen because we already know. You know,
yeah.
we
There are
know what those
certain.
topics are. You guys know. But
They don't even have to be said. Like we know.
yeah, but
But
in this space, you know, we're open for discussion on the topics that we talk about.
mhm.
So yeah,
Yeah. But
and that's that.
to continue my little unpopular opinion, because it's based on what I have experienced from feminists. Well, I don't want to say feminists because they're not. They're misandrists. So like misandrists that I've experienced, I have just been appalled. I've been shocked, girl. Like I said, afraid. Um, things that I've heard from women. It's like why would you say that?
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't even get to the topic of women not taking no for an answer, because y'all think that it's just women that get raped. Men can get raped too. Men can say no, and women can not follow their consent and still do what they
Mm-hmm.
want to do. There's so
Mm-hmm.
many stories, so many unspoken stories, I'll say, of men that have gotten raped um as a young child, or in their teenage years, and have not told anybody about it because of that reason, because you're a man and you shouldn't be talking about those things, or it's been frowned upon, or you're lying, you probably did to her, putting that aspect onto it. So
Mm-hmm.
I guess I won't say feminism is overrated, but it is kind of more like I said, not the true feminists. The people that I have seen mainly on social media apps, especially TikTok, have taken the art of feminism and made it look like complete BS, complete garbage, and it's a it's a turn off. It doesn't make me feel welcomed, I guess, into having sharing my opinions with other feminists, like how I think things should be. Well, I won't say feminists. I keep saying that, but like misandrists that mask themselves as feminists, to share my thoughts, because if I do, I might get kicked out of the community, and I'm a woman. So it's
Mhm.
like so I'll say it's not overrated. It's just full of a lot of BS right now. Like I feel like oh, this main top, like I just want us to, well, not I Zira and I want y'all to focus back on the main topic. Like get back in line. Like don't veer off, because
Mhm.
that's what I feel
Like
like.
don't stray away from the actual purpose of feminism,
Yeah.
because there's still a lot of, you know, things we as a community are forced to work towards that we shouldn't have to.
Yeah.
But I think that's the beauty in this type of community is you have all of these women coming together for the greater good and for a common cause
Mhm.
that is meant to benefit us.
Yeah.
You know, like the target at the end of the day is not men,
And
but the
literally the
system
word is
that men,
feminism.
yeah, the target is not really men, but it's the
Yeah.
system that these men have built that put us at a disadvantage that we should not be at.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
that's to me, that's the primary goal. And to kind of piggyback off of what Angel said,
Mhm.
I think, and I've said this quite a few times before, but I keep going back to it because I really want to reiterate it that a lot of feminism is being, you know, kind of masked with,
Brushed under the rug.
yeah, hypocrisy. And I don't really think that's right. Like Angel said, like men can be victims too. Like the
Mhm.
misandrists are not trying to hear that, but like men can be victims too. And
Mhm.
although it's not talked about as much, why are we doing the same things that they do to us? Like that doesn't make us any better.
No.
If that's like supposed to be a power move for
It's
you,
definitely not.
we have some deep, deep, deep things to go ahead and address because that's not
You need
okay.
to get some help.
That's not okay.
That is not okay.
You know.
And I
And I
feel
know it sucks
like,
to probably hear people say, "Oh, be the bigger person," da da da. And
but
it's
you
like, why
really
should we
have
have to
to.
be the bigger person? But at the end of the day, I mean, it kind of is a competition the way society has made it seem,
Yeah, so I was
but
like,
it's
you
not the
really
type
have to.
it's not the type of competition we think it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
It's not that
we're
type
not
of.
really competing with the person, we're competing with the system, you
Mhm.
know.
Focus on the problem together, not
Yeah, like
against
let's
each
focus
other.
on the root of the problem.
Yeah. Focus on why and not who did what to who.
Hmm.
Focus
But
on
why and
why.
how it can be fixed
Yeah.
and what we can do for each other to fix that.
Mhm.
'Cause at the end of the day,
Agreed.
women gotta have each other's back. That's the
Mhm.
priority, to be there for
Just like
other
our first
women
episode.
because we're feeling, you know, the brunt of this.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, but this conversation will get continued because we do have a few other like subtopics we can complete compilate into one topic. We're gonna have a special guest for that one, but yeah, like this conversation can be continued. It's a very broad topic that can go into so many sectors. Like we will be mentioning the fact of women not taking no for an answer, um, things of that nature. Like another thing I guess that can, I don't know if it's misandry, but it goes into the women thinking that they're superior and things of that nature, or like thinking that they can just do whatever they want, per se, like when it comes to just anybody's feelings, like hurting people's feelings, things of that nature. like talking about how, women wearing the things that they want to wear, but then wearing the things that exploit themselves and show off things that shouldn't be seen, really completely shouldn't be seen by other people, and then getting upset that a man is catcalling you, doing all these things that you don't want to happen to you, but you're making it known. Well, not known. You're just exploiting yourself in that way for men to think that, okay, this is okay for me to do. You know? That's some things that we will further talk about in, I guess you could say, part 2 of Miss Andry, but this conversation is as long as it is. We have an hour of recording, but that hour is probably like maybe like 45 minutes because we were still recording as the technical difficulties was happening. But we're just gonna continue this conversation, just not today. But we hope you guys really got a sense of open-mindedness when it comes to this conversation, because like Zara said, you really need to focus on why and not who did what. Like, why don't bicker between each other, just focus on the system.
Yeah, like let's just remember why the feminism movement was put into place.
Yeah.
To continue to advocate for women's rights,
Mm-hmm.
to uplift other women in times of need.
Yeah.
Not to attack men. That's not the purpose of this.
Yeah.
And even though a lot of men attack women, we don't need to get down to their level.
You don't need to stoop lower or stoop low as them. But yeah.
Because we're not going to get anywhere like that.
No, we're not. That concludes our topic for the week. Make sure you guys tune in next week where we're going to talk about how social media, makes it seem like 20-year-olds need to have their life together by 20 or younger than that. Like 18-year-olds need to have their life, buy a house, a car, have, things of that nature. That's what we'll be talking about by then.
So it's going to be a really fun one.
Yeah.
A lot of personal experiences that we talk about in that one. So make sure that you stay tuned for that episode coming soon.
Yes. Also, I do want to mention the audio. Remember we talked about, how terrible like that whole thing went down last episode where Zara lost her audio. Well, guess what? She got it today. It just popped up.
It literally came up out of nowhere.
Yeah. So we won't have to film a full recording for that. So y'all will get recording from like about 2 weeks ago, and then probably like a little bit of, adding the segments and things of that nature.
So the audio, it may seem a little jumpy, but that's just because we're including a little extra footage into what we had already pre-recorded, because this was a topic that we had tried to record last week, but we had some problems. But now that we have the footage back, we're gonna just kind of add to it, clean it up a little bit, and get it up for you guys.
Yeah. And another big news, we will be filming in person next week, so that's exciting. I can't wait for that.
We'll be reunited.
Yay! But the next reuniting after that is probably Thanksgiving break, is it? Yeah, but Zara only has 3 days.
So
I don't
we are gonna get better at the whole virtual filming thing, because it's probably what we're going to be doing for majority of the time. But just know soon we'll have an episode out for you guys where we're in person. It'll feel a little bit more personable than seeing us behind screens.
Yeah, I mean, y'all will be seeing us behind screens anyway.
Yeah, but you know what I mean.
But we're together. We're in one room.
We'll be feeding off of each other's energy a little bit.
Yeah. So that concludes. See y'all later. Bye.
Thank you guys for listening or watching. And if you're new here and you enjoyed listening to us, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell to know every time that we upload.
And follow us on SoundCloud, TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. All of our social handles will be in the description below. We love you guys, and as always, we hope you felt safe in our safe space.